Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with your hockey coach, Guru Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 282. What your menu, coach? First of all, guys, everybody love RHP. Then, look like the Montreal Canadiens right now, they look fatigued, tired. That's what we saw last night against the Florida Panthers. But before we talk about the first subject, we want to remind you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey National Show, and leave me comments about this episode. And of course, let's move on now for the first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, is everybody love RHP. Everyone want to play with. First of all, last night against the Florida Panthers, RHP scored again another goal. Is 14th of the season and only in 32 games. Unbelievable what RHP bring and contribute for the Montreal Canadiens since he called the call up for the Laval Rocket. Martin St. Louis used RHP during the game last night on the third line with Gallagher and Evans. One of the reasons I believe is because nothing was working very well last night. I think Martin St. Louis tried to make some kind of sparks for the line. It did not turn around to be really good at the end of the day. But is it possible that line become the line for next season? I'm not sure, but that's happening last night. Martin St. Louis bring Gallagher with RHP and Jake Evans. RHP, he has a spot in 2023-2024. Obviously, with all the players returning from injuries next season, I believe he's going to be more at the bottom six with the Montreal Canadiens. That's possible. The reason why Martin St. Louis used Gallagher, Evans, and RHP together. Next key said about RHP. It goes to the right place, make good play, keep play going, and just does a good job of everything. All the details that he has is pretty impressive. Yep, just a really good winger to have for anybody. Suzuki said, the game is fast. You really have to anticipate play and put yourself in the good position, and he seems to do that all the time. This is the reason why I said at the beginning, everybody love RHP. They want to play with because that's what he brings. Not only one game sometime, every freaking game, every freaking period, and every shift. That's what RHP does for the Montreal Canadiens. He make other players better around him. Brendan Gallagher talk about Gérard Gallin, assistant coach with the Montreal Canadiens. He said he helped me a lot when I started as a rookie with the Montreal Canadiens. He said he was really positive. He took me under his wing. He showed me what it takes to stay in the NHL, to play 82 games every single season. He said one thing he was said to me, never change your play because you change the line. That's really interesting, guys, because sometimes because you play with maybe more talented players, less talented player, skill where the player is more shifty or more on the second lane or more sniper, sometimes you try to modify your play for them, but now it makes you more thinking, and when you start to thinking in hockey, you're losing, honestly, your best performance because you're always thinking for something. I just let it go and play the way you're supposed to play. And one thing Gallagher said about that is coaches put you on the line for a reason. You have a skill set as a player, and I think that's always your bread and butter. That's you have to stick to. And I think that's honestly, that's the right thing to think that way. And the way Gallagher talked, he was referred to RHP. Whenever he played with any line, any players, he continues to play the same way. He never changed his play. And that's pretty amazing to see RHP play right now with the Montreal Canadiens since he got the call up for the Laval Rocket. Look, guys, everybody love Raymond. Everybody love now RHP and Montreal for the Bleu Blanc Rouge. I would like to hear from you guys. Leave me a comments. What do you think about RHP? Send a call up for Laval Rocket. And let's move on now, guys, for my last subject of the day. My second subject of the day, guys, about the Montreal Canadiens. They look fatigued. What you talk about, coach? They are really fatigued with the physical and the mental. Both area, well, you can see yesterday Montreal did not play well against the Florida Panthers. They was a little bit flat. They play not bad the first period, but it was not like it was usually the last 20 games. No energy for me. The action was not there, and they will never respond properly against the Florida Panthers yesterday. a team where the Florida Panthers play a game back-to-back. I know they fighting right now for the spot in the wild card, but still Montreal should play better for what we saw yesterday. You saw many mistakes, guys, by the execution, but most of them they was not aware. And when you're not aware, that's make a team flat at the end of the day. One thing I would say, Martin Saint-Louis need to figure out for the next 6 games what he need to do to motivate that team to finish strong the end of the season. We still have 18 more period to play. Some of them play for a big things here. Some for a contract. Some for the future. Some they want to stay with the Montreal. They want to leave a great impression to the management to possibly to stay with the Montreal Canadiens for the season 2023 and 2024. Sean Farrell last night scored his first goal of his career in NHL. Yeah, it was not pretty. Yes, the goaltender, Florida Panthers line was not great on that play, but a goal is a goal, and he did it. And when he played last night with Gallagher and Jake Evans, Finlay, he played on the first line with Zuski and Hoffman at the beginning of the third period. Now, let's move on to some news around the Montreal Canadiens. Sava was out of the lineup with some kind of illness, and finally, Kirby Duck was out too for a third game. He's going to be out for a minimum 1 more week. Possibly will not returning for the end of the season. Something we have to follow up. But that's happening. Chris Whiteman was back in the lineup, and Montembeault was between the pipe for the Montreal Canadiens against the Florida Panthers. Now, NC announced the 3 finalists of the Trophy O.B. Baker. And obviously, Hudson and Farrell was not on the finalists. Matthew Nyes, Logan Coley, and Adam Fantilli are the 3 finalists of this trophy. And then, guys, I will be back at 9 o'clock tonight for a show called the Ab Nation Live Tonight Show. And I'm talking about the rumor, possible Jeff Gordon want to leave the Montreal Canadiens and play a bigger role for any other team in NHL as a general manager. This is the rumors coming from left and right. We're going to talk about this at this show. Come to join me. We're going to talk about other things about the Montreal Canadiens and which year you consider the Montreal Canadiens could become a contender at the playoff team. Is it next year, in 2 years, or in 3 years? So leave me a comment, guys, about this subject. And this concludes, guys, everything we have for you on this episode. That's it. That's all, guys. We talk about everybody love RHP. Then, obviously, Montreal, they look fatigued and tired for what we saw last night against the Panthers. But before we leave, we want to remind you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and leave me comments about this episode. And, of course, guys, I want to remind you, you have greatness inside of you. And, of course, we wish you an amazing, blessing day, everybody.